that I'm
Great.
I'm going to talk about stress and also about stress and how that can help you with self-care. Now, I would like to start off and asking the main kind of question. How many of you are stressed or feel that you're able to manage your stress? No one, everybody's able to manage their stress. Very stressed, okay? Are you able to manage it? Sometimes, and this we're going to go ahead and kind of talk about, sometimes we kind of put ourselves into the position of thinking we're able to handle our bodies and the stress. And in reality, we are not doing a very good job. So that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about is stress management and the importance of self-care. Because you could go ahead and say, I'm stressed, but what are you doing to help yourself during this time? During this topic of discussion, we're going to talk about what is stress, what causes stress, some of the facts about it, and how you can manage your stress, and the importance of self-care, and also talk about some tips. And it seems like everybody's favorite is the meditation, and we're going to be concluding. Throughout this presentation, I would love to be able to ask you different questions and would love some feedback from everybody so at least I know where you're coming from. And if there's anything that you have points on that we'd be able to share with other people would be very beneficial. So let's get started. What is stress? Stress is how you handle different situations or how the different situations handle you. I bet you some of you feel like that on a continuous basis. About 40% of people have almost a misconception about what stress is for them. And because of that, they have a difficult time managing their stress because they really don't understand. I would say before COVID happened, everyone would probably say, well, I'm stressed. That's part of the job. I'm going to keep on moving. But then in reality, when we was in lockdown for those several months, and even now, as your workload, especially if you're working at home, you're going to notice, and a lot of people noticing a difference in their behavior and how they're handling things. So we're going to talk about what causes stress. Everyone, everyone has a different perception of what is stress and what causes it. And one of the things with a lot of people, what's stressful for one person is a piece of cake for another. And so you cannot always say to another person, I'm stressed, but you're not. You're handling the situation very well. In reality, that person may not. So you have to look at it from your perspective, and everyone is different. Everyone has different triggers. Some of the things that may be stressful for some people is being unhappy in a job. You're working there and you're doing what you have to do, but in some cases, it's paying the bills. But because one part of you said, I'm taking care of my bills, but I hate this job, that can cause an undue response in the body, which would cause you to become stressed. The other thing is you're having too much workload and too many responsibilities. I'm quite sure if I asked most of you that question, how many of you going through that right now and got that panic look every time you look at your desk? You probably said, yeah, that's me right there. And because of that workload, you're having your body's going into stress. Even when you're home, you just imagine going back to that desk and seeing everything on that desk that you have to do. How about many of you now? Some of you are still working at home, and some of you, because you got computers, you take the computer home. Usually, before computers and having laptops at home and email systems at home. Before, back in the day, when you left work, that was it. If you left work at 5 o'clock, 5:30, or whatever your end of the day time was, that was it. But now, because of technology, because of computers, we take the computers home, we're finding ourselves working into wee hours of the night. That is a no-no because that is the time you're supposed to be home and sleep and taking care of yourself and your family. And you can't do that if you're working. That can cause a lot of undue stress. How about the fact that you're working at a job where you don't like the boss, or you have a very poor management team, and somehow or another, some people can get a degree, but that does not mean that they can manage a team. And so, unfortunately, that can cause a lot of problems, especially if your boss is having some unclear expectations of what your job is, and you don't really understand what your job is in the first place. And because of that, that could cause a lot of undue stress because your boss is believing that you're supposed to be doing certain things and certain tasks and has the ability to do that. And you, as the individual there, you don't have a clue. And every time you think that you're doing something correct, your boss comes back and kind of chews on you and says, nope, you're not doing it correctly. Why you didn't do it this way? A lot of undue expectations can cause a lot of problems and cause a lot of stress. Nowadays, being insecure about your job, about whether or not you're going to get that promotion, you're thinking that you're doing the job correctly, but unfortunately, you're not. Your boss keeps on writing you, and next thing you know, you're worried about whether or not you're going to be keeping this job. And a lot of times, that's your perception of what's going on. But because of that, it can cause you to have a lot of problems and cause you to stress. One of the things that we've been finding lately is this, discrimination and harassment at work, especially if your company's not supported and you're an individual and you're finding that no matter what you're doing, somehow or another, based on religious, sexual preferences, color, anything, you may find that you're feeling discriminated against and you're feeling harassed at work. And because of that, that can cause a lot of undue stress, especially if there's no one that you can feel that you can turn to for help. Some of the other things, time management, busy, busy, busy. We're all in a constant world of doing things and never really a time to just take a break. We'll talk about the impact and effects of stress on your health. I know how many of you feel like that right now. Stress has a lot of impact on all of the systems within your body. Not only your muscles, it also has an impact on your respiratory system. It also has a lot of problems on your cardio, your endocrine system, your cardiovascular, your upset stomach. And you're thinking again that I'm handling everything okay. But in reality, if any of this kind of holds true to you, you're not managing your stress is managing you. We're going to talk about some of the things that stress has and the impact. Let's look at the impact that it has on your body. How many of you find yourselves with a lot of headaches? Constantly headaches. You may excuse it to poor positioning. You may excuse it to your reaction to the allergens. You can have a lot of excuses, and the first thing you do is, okay, I have a headache. Let me go ahead and take some Advil, some Aleve, let me do something. And you may find a remedy to it, and that is by taking some kind of outside medications or something, or even essential oil. But one of the things you may have to carefully look at is that headache caused by stress, especially if you find yourself having tension headaches. Muscle tension and pain. Well, it's really obvious if you're tight, if you're tense, if you're having a lot of stress. A lot of people carry their stress in their muscles. They sometimes, as a massage therapist, I find a lot of my clients, they'll say, I carry the stress in my neck, and I have all this tightness in my neck and my head, which leads to headaches. And some people, they carry tension in their back. Everybody's different. You may see that you may carry your tension in your back, and you may say, oh, that's not stress. I'm just, positioning myself incorrectly. I'm not doing something. But behold, it may be stress, fatigue. You're not getting enough sleep because you're staying up late at night working, or you're having very not restful sleep because things are just too much. Your mind is just constantly busy. That's stress. And you may even look at, find your partner interesting anymore. You may say, what? You may get into an argument. When was the last time we touched each other, just hugged each other, or just do anything? And not realizing that it's not that they don't have an interest in you any longer. It's just that they may be feeling very stressed at the moment, or carrying a load of things going on in tension. And then that's what happens, you start drifting apart. A lot of people have a lot of upset stomach, nervous stomach, even a lot of autoimmune disorders like IBS, constipation. These can all be caused by stress. And as we talked about sleep problems, you're not getting enough restful sleep. One of the things that when you're stressed, especially, you probably heard this so many times, the fight or flight. When you're stressed, it puts you into that fight or flight mode, and it can be chronic or acute. Acute is when it's very short, it just happens and it's done. Chronic is when it's constantly over and over and over and over again. When you're being stressed and it becomes chronic, you're going to find that your body's going to display a lot of these different symptoms. Also, you might find yourself more prone to being sick. You might find yourself um, having more autoimmune diseases. Even where last year you had no problem with allergies, now this year it's really bad. And you can say, well, the pollen is high, but just think about it. When you're stressed, your immune system goes down, and it makes you more compromised to illnesses, your allergies, a lot of different things. What about your mood? Anxiety. Oh my gosh. A lot of times, a lot of people may feel very anxious, and it's kind of like, what's going on? I just don't know what's going on. And it could be your stress. It becomes so rampant and so much within you that you find yourself just on hyper alert all the time. You find yourself anxious. You might find yourself crying and depressed. And you might just start finding yourself snapping at another person. And your motivation, your focus, just all of these different things. You're not able to work before when you work, you enjoyed your job. Now you can't even focus anymore. And you may try to do different things that help. But the one thing you want to do is identify what it is. And you may be stressed. How about your behavior? Oh my gosh. How many of you are stress eaters? How many of you just don't know it? All of a sudden you're at the candy machine, you're stopping at the store, you just want to get some gas, and the next thing you know, you're coming out of the store with all kinds of Twinkies, chocolate cakes, sodas, everything. Yeah, when you're stressed. It's not that you're hungry. You may say, hey, I'm hungry and I need this to eat, but you have to kind of think about what you're doing and your actions and why you think actions is causing it. Or how about the fact that you used to exercise, go out there and work out, and then all of a sudden you just can't even get out of bed anymore. And you find yourself just wanting to lay on the couch, lay in the bed, put the your phone on snooze again and again and again, and that time you used to get up to exercise, you don't do it anymore. All of these are just some of the general things that people struggle through with stress. So we're going to go ahead and talk about managing your stress. There are all kinds of different things that you can do. Why should we? Okay, why should we go ahead and manage our stress? It's going to still be there. As some of you said, I still have to go to work and everything is going on at work. So why should I? I mean, I just go ahead and take my pills. I go ahead and take my Advil, my leave. I'll go ahead and just sit on the couch. But if you learn how to manage your stress, it's going to improve your attention span. You're going to be able to do a lot more, interact with your family a lot better, interact with your coworkers better. Also, by managing your stress, it's going to help you decrease your anxiety, decrease your stress, and bottom line, decrease that job burnout. So you don't have to feel you have to go find a new job every year because stress is there. Now, understand stress is going to be there. It's how you manage and how you react to that that's going to be making the big difference. And that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about. Self care. A lot of times we see the word self care and we think that's being selfish. You might even have people telling you, you're just thinking about yourself. You just want to go do those things and you're not even care about me. Self care is very important and it's not selfish. Research has shown that when you do frequent things on self care, you're stressing less because when you're doing something for yourself, it helps you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, we got a question here. Now, you can raise your hand or unmute, but how many of you practice some sort of self-care practices? Hmm, I have no responses. So that's interesting. Whoa, I got one. No time. Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to find time. We're going to find time. And we're going to address that a little bit too. Ditto. No time. Yes, we're going to talk about that. Now, some of you probably who says, I don't do anything or there's no time. And I know a lot of times when we talk about self-care, I have had a lot of people, oh, I'm going to get me a mani and a pedi. That's only one aspect. Do you realize that at least 7 different types of self-care that can help you to minimize your stress? All of these, your emotional, your physical, mental, social, spiritual, all of these things you can go ahead and incorporate in your daily life. Every day you can incorporate some aspect of these types of self-care every day. And guess what? You'll be able to have the time. Just think about it. Your emotional self-care. What can you do to go ahead and take care of yourself with your emotions? You can talk, you can do journaling. Just put your thoughts down on a piece of paper, carry a notebook, you carry a little pad with you every day, and just kind of write down what's going on. Sometimes you don't always have somebody to talk to, but if you was to put your thoughts down on paper, guess what? It's getting it out of your head. Practicing gratitude. A lot of times we just go through each day and we're not thankful for being able to have a job, having some kind of income, having a loving spouse, loving partner, loving children. Guess what? If each day you were to get up in the morning, just set your clock 5 minutes ahead of your normal time, and even if you put on the snooze button, during that time, just kind of think of all the different things that you could be grateful for. And guess what? The more you do that, the more that's going to help your emotional well-being. Just those little things you could do. Also, you can just find yourself a health coach, a life coach, or even a mentor, someone that you could just talk to. And nowadays, you have a lunch break, take that lunch break, call somebody up, and talk to them for about 5, 10 minutes. What about your physical well-being? Being active, taking a relaxing bubble bath. I mean, these are just really simple things that you can do for yourself. And how about, and I do this quite often, I will go ahead, I'll go on my smart TV and go on my YouTube channel, and I'll find Fennell and the happy song. Oh my gosh. And I'll just put that on and I'll just start dancing and in my living room and sometimes even in my office when things are getting bad. And you can do that. You can do that at work. Put it on your phone, put your earphones on, and start wiggling in your chair. You do have the time that you can be able to do these things. But even when you're at work, and it's your lunch break, you get 15 minutes. You should get at least 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon of any kind of break. Go in your car and take a 5 minute nap. That can help rejuvenate you big time. And how about a mental self care? Mentally, go ahead and helping yourself to doing something, creating it, doing a new hobby, going to the museum. There are great museums here in San Antonio. And some of them they have free exhibits. They have outdoor exhibits, and even for veterans and military, they have different ones that you go for free. And even if you're in the school system, they have a field day and somebody's going out for a trip, volunteer, go. But just do something like that. On social self care, scheduling a phone touch bases with your mom, your dad, with your family member. So go ahead and connect yourself with others. Don't keep yourself so isolated. And hey, it's date night. Let's go out on a date. You can make the time for it. Even something even as simple as if you have a pet, just cuddling on your pet. I used to have a dog who passed away a few years ago, and we used to say give love love. And he would jump up in our lap and just nestle his nose up underneath her neck. And that was our give love love. And he would do it all the time. And so, and that just helped me so much. But you could do all of these different things. And for those of you who said you don't have the time, I think if you look at suggestions, you're going to find out that you do have the time that you just do some of these simple things. Here's some more spiritual self care. You know that just going outside, especially if you're working, even in San Antonio downtown, there's a tree. There's a tree somewhere. Go outside on your break and just sit underneath the tree. And I know some of you, because of the stress and you're smokers, you go outside and take that cigarette break. Substitute it instead of taking that cigarette break. Just go out there and Sit underneath the tree. Take a break. The weather's getting nice now. Go and sit underneath the tree. Start practicing yoga. And you know what? I know some of you don't have the time, but you can find the time to maybe volunteer, making phone calls, doing something. Because when you do something like that, you're taking the focus a little bit off of yourself, and it's kind of helping other people. But the gratification that you have in helping others is going to make your spiritual well-being right off the roof. Practical self-care. How many of you, because a lot of times when you're stressed, you're going to find yourself, you can look at your desk and you know you're stressed. Think about it. Look at your desk right now. Is it cluttered? Let's go at home. Do you just have things tossed, turned all over the place? Clutter could just make a person drive you crazy and could also cause you to be stressed. So set time to do something to take care of yourself. Tidying up your living space so it's not so cluttered. Do meal prepping so that you're not rushing home, getting off from work, to going ahead and preparing the meals for your family. If you kind of set time on the weekends to prepare a meal, even HEB has some great meal prep that's already prepared for you, and you just go and pop it in the oven. That will go ahead and simplify your time so you're not feeling always rushed. But of course, if all else fails, you can go ahead and get a counselor. Take courses. Find something that's going to help your professional well-being too as well. Being mindful is setting daily intentions, and that's going to help you each day. Just doing something like this, taking a daily, we call it daily body scan. Kind of just check in on yourself and see, are you tensed? And if you are, what you need to do. And tune into your mood. If you're kind of short tempered, and even if you find you have a coworker that's all of a sudden they're not the way they're supposed to be, and all of a sudden they're snapping at everybody, kind of set them aside and say, hey, let's go have a happy hour. Let's talk. There's different things that you could do. Now, of all the different things we just talked about, of the 7 self-care types, how many of you practice any of those type of things? Great. And as you're practicing it, do you feel it helps? Think about it. And if you find one little thing, try to at least, you have 7 self-care types that you can practice. Guess what? There's 7 days in a week. Try to practice each one of these. Just something from each group once a day. 10 minutes a day, maybe 15. Practicing mindfulness is something really good that you could do, because when you're practicing mindfulness, it helps you to be at the moment. It helps you to see what's going on. And by doing that, it's going to help you to check in on yourself and realize where you're at, and also realize that you're stressed. And a lot of times we just go into the motion and we forget everything. When you do this on a regular basis, the more you exercise it, the more it gets, the stronger it gets, and the more you're going to find your well-being getting better. Here's a favorite that everybody loves to do. We're going to go ahead and pause for a moment while I get the other slide, and we're going to go ahead and do a guided meditation. screen. Let's get out of this one screen. Okay. Meditation. I would like to sit in a comfortable with your spine elongated. You could either sit in a traditional meditation with your legs crossed, or you can sit in a chair with your back against forward. I want you to look around and become aware of what surrounds you. Okay, I'll turn the music down a little bit more. Okay, is that better? Can you hear me okay now? Okay. I want you to look around and become aware. How about that? Is that better? Can you hear me okay? Look around. Thank you. And become aware of what surrounds you. See the things that are still, like the furniture, the door. Notice anything that's moving as well. Take in the different colors, shapes, and textures. Observe how the light hits different objects. As you gaze round around the room, fixate on a particular spot with your eyes. Blink slowly as your gaze remains in one thing. Each time you blink, feel relaxation wash through you. Now let your eyes slowly close. Will you feel the warmth of relaxation gently sweeping over your body? Let your awareness settle on your breathing. Inhale through the nose, hold it. Exhale slowly. Relaxation gently sweeping over your body. Let the awareness settle now and focus on your breathing. Feel the air going into and out of your lungs. Notice how your lungs is feeling. Notice how your lungs and belly expands and contracts as you breathe in and out. With each breath, feel your body relaxing. Inhale, relax. muscle tension is decreasing as your body comes to rest. Breathing deeply and hold the breath for 5 seconds. Exhale. Picture the stress leaving your body. As you exhale gently, you're also blowing away the stress that you've been holding on to. Exhaling. Picture stress leaving your body as you exhale. Exhale. From this moment forward, you are choosing to be relaxed and calm. You are choosing to be in control. You are choosing to be peaceful and healthy. Say to yourself, the good things in my life than the things that cause stress. And I begin to feel the push of anxiety and set both my body and mind at rest. When negative thoughts arise, I challenge them. As you continue, take control of unhelpful, unproductive, negative thoughts. The moment you become aware of them, say stop to yourself. When you say stop, it will halt the negative thinking. It allows you to restart your thinking with positive, affirming thoughts. Continue gently breathing in and out. Notice your lungs expanding and contracting. Feel your muscles relax and release. Anxiety and tension have no place in your life. You are at peace. If anxieties or worries come to mind, don't actively try to push them away. Instead, gently acknowledge them and let them continue on their way. Deal with them at the appropriate time. Now just gently inhale, exhale. With each breath, find yourself gently relaxing, feeling tension being released from your body. Now open your eyes and observe your surroundings again. Feel the ground or chair under you. Take a deep breath in, hold it for 5 seconds, and then let it out. Now you'll be able to go about your day at ease with yourself and with the world. So how are you feeling? Well, in conclusion, I like to tell you a lot of the comments we had seem to be where a lot of people don't feel that they have time to do the things that they need to do to practice self-care to help minimize their stress. But if you look at some of the tips and some of the examples that we talked about as far as self-care, some of these things could just take 5, 10 minutes out of your day to help you to minimize your stress. And I think next time when you look at self-care, don't look at it as being selfish. It's looking at something that's going to help you to make you a better person, a better coworker, a better employee, a better parent, a better friend. Because when you look at the impact of what stress has on the body, I think making the time to unstress is a lot more rewarding than suffering through the anxieties and the things that you're suffering through as you're being stressed. And one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make. I have a ebook that I haven't had a chance to create, but it's going to have some of these tips that we talked about that you could be able to download. And I'll make sure that Heather has this available. So for all of those of you who have participated in this, you'll be able to have access to that ebook and some of the tips that we're talking about. Also, with Hands in Harmony, we do have a wellness program and coaching. So if you have any needs as part of this program, all employees and participants, you do get 10% off. But also take advantage of the services that Health Texas mentioned earlier that is covered by your insurance. But if you need any help, definitely please reach out to me. And these are some of the resources that we used during this presentation. We do have maybe a few more minutes if anybody has any questions that you would like to ask. I am available. You want to take yourself off the mute, you can, or you can go ahead and show your screen. Well, is everybody relaxed, or did most people go back to the work? Yes, sir. I see you have a hand raised. Did you have a question or something? Well, I'm glad that I was able to help. Okay. Like I said, if there's anything else that you would like, I would definitely go ahead and get that. As I mentioned, this is being recorded, so you'll be able to get this presentation, especially the meditation. And then also, as I said, I'm promising to give you that ebook that's going to have some of the tips that we talked about. So if that is it, I do appreciate your comments, and I hope it helps you in order to minimize your stress. Take care now. Bye bye.
You sounded like